Yo, that's wild. What's good? It's EJ here. You already know. If you didn't know, now you know. Like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. You know what I'm saying? Today, first thing that came to my mind. So what I try to do is, the days that I'm going into the office, I'm just going to have my drive talk. And basically whatever's on my mind at that time. It could be, so much shit be running through my head, but it's just like, the first thing that pop in my head, I'm like, you know what, this is gonna be what we're talking about. So, I spoke earlier about when I wanted to get into acting and things like that. And I've always been a huge movie fan, man. Just science fiction is my all-time #1 science fiction. Shout out whoever even thought about the genre of science fiction, man. I would love to meet them. If I had a time machine to go back in time, I'd definitely meet that dude or lady. But yeah, so I remember my first time ever on set. So this is what I would say. This story is kind of like Star Wars. So it's like, you know how Star Wars, they came out with 4, 5, 6 first, and then years later they came out with 1, 2, 3. That's how I'm about to start finessing these things. So basically, I'm gonna start with how I'm already inside, you know what I'm saying, the acting and modeling industry. So stay tuned. I'm gonna post a video also about how I got into the modeling and all that stuff. I kind of briefly touched on it in my previous video, but I'm gonna dive a little bit more into it inside that world. Yeah. So we gonna get this thing cracking. You with me? It's like, nah. But yeah, so basically, I remember my first time ever on set, and it was for the movie called Ghost. Man, it was for Ghost with Chris Evans and Anna de Armas. Those are the main characters. So it kind of started. I'm already kind of got my foot a little wet inside the industry, and then so I was reaching out to multiple casting agencies, just reaching out, things like that, to trying to push my brand, yourself as a brand. So I'm trying to push my brand out there. I'm taking acting classes, and I was taking acting classes over out in DC. And it was lovely, man. Like, just to learn the field of acting. I had great instructors, man. And this kind of, the feeling that I had when I started taking classes was kind of like, oh, I'm shy. People think that they're outgoing, but when you're placed in certain situations where it's time to act in front of other people, that really tests your judgment and tests your character on who you really are. And I'm a very outgoing person. Like, I'm an introvert, so like I like to be, you know what I'm saying, to myself sometimes. But it's like, when it comes to a stage, it's a snap, man. I kind of realized that, like, I've always had that. When I was in, like, elementary, middle school, high school, when it came to, like, a play, or if it came to, like, a presentation, man, improv, I will wing the shit out of that, man. It was like, you give me one topic. If I have enough knowledge on it, like 30%, all I need is like 20 to 30% of the knowledge of whatever topic I'm talking on, and I can just keep it rolling. And it'd be funny because I remember, like, kind of jumping back in time. Just know I bounce all over the place. So I jump back in time when I was in school. I remember one of my teachers in college, he was just like, yeah, he was like, EJ, I can tell that you seem very confident in your work, and how much research did you do? And I was like, man, I didn't really do that much research. He was like, so how did you do? I'm like, man, if I see a topic and I get in front of people, I can just move. I don't know, like something else takes over my body, and I can just go. And the knowledge, and the thing is, I can make it so believable. Sometimes I don't even fully know half the shit I be talking about. I just be talking, and people be like, wow, maybe I'm just a good salesperson. But in my mind, I know what I'm talking about. But when it comes out to the people in my brain, while I'm talking, I be sitting there thinking, like, do they even understand anything that I'm saying? And they be doing it, be like, oh, wow, you're very well spoken. I understand completely, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, kudos, it worked. Then I sit back, and it's kind of like I just get off of this high, like, yo, wow, it's done. So when I first got into the acting classes, I remember, now fast forward. So now when I first got into the acting classes, my first class, they were just like, well, we want you to, everybody stood in a circle, you had to say your name and then something that rhymes with your name. And I'm sitting thinking like, okay, you get what I'm saying? Like, everyone has thought about this, I suppose. So that you're hearing this person, hey, my name is Susie. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, Susie with the booty. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, first off, man, you have no yams, you have no cheeks, so I don't know why they call you Susie with the booty, but there's neither here nor there. So like, for me, they were like, okay, Everton. I'm like, okay, Everton. What words really rhyme with Everton? I was doing this since I was a kid. I'm like, Everton, Beverton. You know what I'm saying? That's my first thing, Everton, Beverton. It don't make no sense, but that was always my rhyme. So I was like, Everton, Beverton. They was like, oh, okay, clapping. They're clapping. I'm like, in my brain, Everton, Beverton always hit hard. I don't know why. That's just me. I'm like, Everton, Beverton. You don't think it's funny? Okay, maybe I'm just, you know what I'm saying, lame or something, whatever. But anyway, so we got there, and then they were just like, oh, we're going to jump into pairs. And they were like, okay, well, we're in pairs now. And it was like, okay, well, we're going to use our name, and we're going to, and after we did the name part, it was like, we're going to use a topic. So we were kind of like playing with a hat. We were playing with a hat and all the little pieces of paper. So we pulled the paper out, was like, we had different topics. And the crazy thing is, I never really knew about acting is how intellectual you have to be. And when I say that, people just think like, oh, you're an actor, you this. Nah, when they want you to tap into these different types of emotions, that's when you really realize how smart and intelligent these actors really are, and they don't get enough credit for. People just think like, well, you see a Tom Holland, you know what I'm saying, an Idris Elba, you see all these big actors, and you just think, wow, they just really good at memorization. Bruh, it's not just memorization that they're good at, and that's one key aspect that's amazing, man. And that was one of my biggest fears of trying to like becoming an actor. Like, yo, how can I remember all of these lines? So I'm gonna dive into that a little bit. So kind of going back, we're picking names, and then, I mean, we're not picking names, we're picking like little topics, and they'd be like, well, I want you to act this scene out, but I want you to be smitten. And I'd be like, okay, smitten, all right. I know what smitten means. You want to, you know what I'm saying, I'm kind of like puckered up, you know what I'm saying, you want to, you're a little bit more upbeat. So then it's like, okay, I want you to be dragged in this scene. I want you to be curious in this scene. But you're doing the same scene, right? So it's like in our groups, we had a little quick monologue. It was about I would say like a 15-second monologue. So you're just saying a couple words, blah 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 blah, and then but you gotta say that in the emotion of being ecstatic, in the emotion of being dreary. But every group is doing that same monologue, but in different types of emotions. And that kind of like opened up my mind and been like, yo, that is crazy how the world of acting is. You can say the same word, the same lines, the same sentences, and you can have different emotions. And this is how you're able to tap into different type of levels of an actor. So some actors can be like, okay, well, they don't really show that they're charismatic in the scene. And this is where the director comes in, and they're just like, yeah, you need you a little bit more energy. We need you to be a little bit more sorrow. And this is helping you being able to tap into your own emotions. And I'd be like, man, how the fuck can you do that? But they say you're acting every day. So me having this conversation with you, I'm showing just whatever. So, okay, in my mind, I can show something, but the viewers, when they say, when you're on camera, everyone, they see everything. They see and they do. Anything that you're putting out there, the camera will pick up on it. Any kind of facial gestures, cues, hand movements, body language, the camera sees it all. So you have to be always on your A game. So kind of going in there, I'm like, man, this is nice. I would love to dive more into that. And I'm like, this first class, this basic acting 101, this basics, you're learning this stuff. And I'm like, if these was what people went to school for, now I see why characters are brought to life by these actors. And then, you know how people be like, oh, well, I'm tired of seeing Kevin Hart, I'm tired of seeing The Rock and Denzel and all these people in certain movies, because they know how to tap into all of those fucking emotions. Well, I wouldn't say Kevin Hart and all of them, because I feel like they really, to be honest, they really can't act. That's just my opinion. When I'm seeing real actors in range and how they can break down each character and create an actual role, Kevin Hart and all of them, The Rock, they play the same characters. I feel like The Rock early in his career, he kind of, you know what I'm saying, like he showed a little bit more growth, maybe because I feel like he was hungry. Now, and I feel like he's just like, I'm a celebrity now, I'm a big A-list celebrity, I can do whatever I want. I feel like his acting started to go downhill. Same thing with Kevin Hart and them, but they're great people, don't get me wrong, I don't know them personally, but I just feel like the acting on them kind of just dropped down. So if you're looking at just say a Leonardo DiCaprio, he's always putting on movies, but if you see, each one of his characters are always different. And when you're looking at an actor, you can see the actor in 15 movies, right? Is that the same character? No, it's the same person, but it's not the same character. And each time they're tapping into a different emotion and showing you that, hey, I might be Tom Holland, and I'm playing this. But sometimes, and then this is another reason when it comes to acting where it comes so crucial, sometimes you can play that role so well that people will never see you outside of that character. Let me say that again. Sometimes actors play characters so well that the outside world cannot perceive or see them as another character. Good example. What is that? I think his name is Alfonso, something like that. Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's done documentaries and stories and stuff like that where he's saying, hey, it's difficult for me to even get acting gigs because he played Carlton so well. No one can see him anything else. Just imagine you seeing Carlton, Alfonso, whatever his name is. You see this dude in a horror film, you'll be like, what? Bruh, stop playing Carlton. You would never see him in that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even if he tried to break and try to show his range that he can create those kind of characters, you wouldn't see it. You would not see it. You know what I'm saying? And another good example, what is that? I think it's a guy from one of Jerry Seinfeld, from the Seinfelds, whatever, Jerry Seinfeld. So the little short guy, same thing. He was playing that character so well, he was saying that it was difficult for him to get roles because that's all they saw. Man, so it's crazy just to think that you can play a character so well that the outside world will always view you like that. What is that? Woody, he played Kanan for Power and all that stuff. I think it's Woody, something Woody. His name is Woody. So he did a recent podcast on Cam Newton's show where he was saying that he's having twins, he's having kids, and when he's out in public, everyone sees him as this gangster, as this hood person, or this person who's tough and blah, blah, blah. And that's who they think he is. And he's just looking at it like, man, in the beginning of my career, I just wanted to act. I wanted to go out there and try to showcase my talent to everybody. And I want to just be out there in the screen. I want to get my name out there. But now he's saying he's a lot more selective with roles. And all this stuff is helping me. So I'm going to jump back to the future in a little bit. But where he's saying, I don't want my daughters to see or view or be out in public with me saying that, well, this is how my dad is. My dad is this kind of person, and he's not that kind of person just because he played those roles. What is that? And that's very detrimental to these people's career, because you want to go out there and be a good actor. You don't want to go out there and be like, oh, okay, I want to be an actor and half-ass it, blah, blah, blah. But you have to find that happy median where it's like you played that role so well that you make that character believable. But however, you can still transition to a whole new character and they'll say, wow, look at these characters. Okay, like a Denzel. He can play Man on Fire. He can play Training. He can play these different kind of roles. But you can kind of still differentiate of saying, okay, well, this is Denzel Washington on Man on Fire, or Robert De Niro in this movie, or Ben Affleck in this kind of movie, and Batman, and then, okay, well, now he's playing Daredevil. So you can kind of show your range of saying, like, I'm a really good actor, but you cannot tie me to this role. I don't know how they do that. And that's something that I still want to learn. Because me still getting to the acting industry, I don't want to get into a point where I play a role so well that it's detrimental to my career going forward, that's all people see me as. They'll be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you did that role so well. Congratulations. And then I say, hey, you know what? I want to try to do this role. They'll be like, maybe just stick to these kind of roles because this is who we see you are. And then I don't want to have no short acting career. So now we're kind of jumping back forward. So like when I got to my first actual acting gig, it was a behind the scenes actor. It was basically a background actor. So it was going for the movie Ghost. So I'm on set, and these sets, man, they're 12, 14 hours. Minimum's like 12 hours. So it's a lot of standing around. You're not really doing anything. So I'm just kind of like watching the ins and outs of how people act. And I'm getting to know a lot of the background actors and hearing their journey. Well, I'm a lawyer. I'm a teacher. I'm a construction worker. You're hearing every single person's backstory, and they're all here to just trying to be a part of something greater. And they're just like, you know what? I want to be an actor. I'm a lawyer. I'm like, yo, you're a lawyer? Yeah, I got the bar next week. This is one guy I was talking to. He's like, I've been studying for the bar for over a year and a half. I got to take my bar this week. So he brought his laptop. He's in there studying. And I'm just like, man, I was so focused. I'm like, I didn't bring anything. I left my phone in the car. I didn't bring no laptop. I'm like, well, is there a way I can kind of go get my phone? Because I just thought that if you're on set, you locked in with the movie. They was like, no, man, you live your life. You can bring your phone, do whatever you want. But when it's time to be on set, I mean, when it's time for you to jump to your scene or whatever, then it's locked in time. So I was like, okay, no problem. But it was a great experience to be on that set, man, watching the director, watching all the PAs, watching everything that had to do with the movie. They're blocking off streets, the police, everything that came in and basically was working together to get that movie started. It was amazing. I'm like, yo, this is something I can be a part of. But, however, when you're on set, that shit is boring as fuck. If you don't have nothing to entertain yourself, bruh, you gonna be bored as shit. And that's why I was just like, man, I ain't bring no phone. I ain't bring nothing because I was trying to be locked in. The whole time I'm just sitting there and you trying to talk to people, which is good. You can talk, you know what I'm saying? You can talk to people, but being on set is boring. I ain't gonna hold you, man. And it was plenty of times when I'm kind of questioning myself, like, yo, is this something that I really want to do? Because what's that Shrek Joan? He was making those noises, and they were just like, and the Shrek was like, well, find another way to entertain yourself. So basically, that's what I had to do. I had to find other ways to entertain myself. So I'm like, let me just try to network with people, network. And I'm just trying to get myself out there and saying like, hey, you know what? Let me just meet these people because you never know what can happen. Connections is the greatest thing what's going on earth right now. When you're meeting people, you're building connections, you're growing. So I was giving people my Instagram, giving people my number. Hey man, contact me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm working with people. They're like, yo, I was on set for The Walking Dead. I was on set for BMF. I was on set for whatever. All these different types of shows. And there were a lot of background actors. And then I'm learning about SAG, union, non-union. And I'm like, oh, they're like, are you union? I'm like, nah. I'm like, this is my first time ever being on set. They're like, okay, so you're non-union. And they're like, well, in order for you to become union, you got to get at least 3 credits or blah, blah, blah. Or if you just kind of get lucky, you could jump on, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's an anomaly. Sometimes it's very hard and blah, blah, blah. And then they're telling stories of people who who were non-union, didn't have no things with acting, jumping into the acting world and becoming SAG eligible. So, man, it's a very, very, very interesting industry. But you have to want it, because that world is one of the biggest. And I've learned, I'm like, some people are like, well, you want to be a construction worker, you want to be a teacher, blah, blah, blah. Man, if you want to become an actor, that to some people, that's the top echelon. Like, you're an actor, bro. That's you at the top. So trying to figure that out, it was kind of like, man, if I'm gonna do this, you can't half-ass it. You gotta go balls to the wall. You gotta be able to fully dedicate yourself, and then the teaching never stops. When you're trying to try to get a role, you got to stay in acting classes. You got to stay doing monologues, stay doing demo reels, because when you get auditions, they want to see that. And man, when I tell you, you have to have the thickest fucking skin in the acting industry, because just say you working at your regular job, you know what I'm saying, you can fuck up plenty of times. You can mess up this, mess up that, it is no problem. But when you fuck up in a demo reel, boom. They don't even give you a fucking feedback. They just be like, well, thank you, have a good day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not, just imagine like you applying to a job. You're applying for a job on Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever. Sometimes you get that email and be like, hey, unfortunately, they're like, hey, you were great, but unfortunately, we're moving on with someone else. Acting, you don't hear shit. They'll just be like, well, thank you, have a good day. We'll contact you in a week or so if you, whatever. You wait a week, you would never hear nothing back from these motherfuckers. Yo, dog, you are literally obsolete after that. So, it's crazy, man. Damn, it's hot as fuck. And I got the AC on. Damn, nigga, it's hot as 2 dudes in this motherfucker. So, anyways. But, on set, man, it was dope, because then you start to see the main actors. So, and me, I didn't know too much about it. So I was calling them. I was just like, oh, yo, that's the motherfucker. That's the actual the celebrity. That's the real guy. They was like, no, that's the principal actor. And I'm like, okay, but I had to learn that. So it's like, if you're gonna be inside an industry or world, you have to abide by their rules. You gotta abide by their lingo. So they were like, oh, this is a principal actor. You can't talk to the principal actor. You get what I'm saying? They'll kick you off set. No taking pictures, no taking videos. Don't ask for no autograph. Don't ask for pictures. And I'm like, what the fuck what's the point of being on set with principal actors if you can't even fucking talk to them? Like, what the fuck? That makes no damn sense. This is their job and blah, blah, blah. I talk to motherfuckers all the time at my job. You know what I'm saying? Bruh, I've been around high motherfuckers, high people, and they will have a quick conversation with you. Nigga, I'm not asking you to have to say, let's go down and go to fucking dinner or something. I'm just saying, hey, dog, you're the big fan. You're doing a great job. Can I just get a quick picture? First off, as a celebrity, whatever, you made it to celebrity status, you are making your money off of your fans. So why the fuck are you not entertaining your fans? That makes no sense. That makes no fucking sense. So when these people be like, well, I've got to a position and I'm an A-list celebrity. Motherfucker, you're an A-list celebrity because the motherfucking, the non-people is the one who's paying to watch you. What do you think? That's why some of these movies go flopping, because it's like, oh, I don't fuck with this actor, so we're going to boycott them. We're not going to go watch their movies. Then what? Then they try to do press releases and be like, oh, well, hey, we apologize, we're good people. No, you let that fucking celebrity status get to your head, and you don't fuck with your peers. What is the peons, the peasants, the people who fucking really got you there. So, but man, it was like, when I got there, I'm looking at Chris Evans, and it's crazy, I had a scene with him where I was a valet driver. So if you watch the movie Ghost, you'll kind of see me. It's like but you see, like, it's crazy because they were like, oh, well, you're tall. And the actual casting director, they're two little French people. A short guy, I forgot his damn name. So he came to me and his wife, they're both directing this movie. And they were like, oh, wow, you have a really good face. I'm like, okay, thank you. They was like, how about this? Can you drive? You have a valid driver's license? I'm like, yeah. They said, well, we want you to drive this car. Bro, I got to drive a motherfucking Mercedes in a movie as a background actor. Where they do that at? And I'm like, this is what I get to do as a motherfucker background. I get to drive. I'm like, shit. So it was two cars. And I was just like, one was like I think it was like a Corvette McLaren. It was some fancy ass car. I'm not a big car person, so motherfucker, I just saw it was a nice ass Mercedes that I was driving. But the little sports car, they were like, we need you to get into this car fast, start the car and move. But it was like, you're a little too big to jump inside that car that fast. I'm like, what? No, I'm not. What? I can get small. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't tell me what I can do. But I guess in their mind, they're looking at it like, nah, this is what we want, a smaller guy. So the guy that they picked for this other little, he was an Indian dude. Cool. I met him. Same thing. When you're in the back, you're just talking to people. So I got his information, and he got to drive the nice sports car, and I'm like, damn, I'm low-key jealous. But the funny thing is, he kept fucking up his scene. And they be telling you this. I'm like, yo, you're a background actor, and they give you an opportunity, do not fuck up. So I got to the point where it's like, you know what? On my scene, I jumped in the jump. I came and I'm walking, boop, boop, boop. Open the door, jump in the jump, put the joint in drive and start driving off. They was like, good job, good job. Every time he kept doing it, he didn't know how to motherfucking put the joint in gear. He kept fucking up, and I'm just like, hey, he keep fucking up, bruh. In this world, and you fuck up, somebody else gonna come up and scoop up and not fuck up. So I'm like, yo, hey, I'm looking, but I don't want to speak, you know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, it's like when you there, you kind of like, it's an honor, you know what I'm saying? So you don't really want to overstep your boundaries. So I'm looking, and they looking at me like, hey, you're doing a great job. Why does he keep messing up? And when they saying cut, every time they do scenes, that shit costs bread. And you got a background actor who's keep fucking up, and they gave you an opportunity. I was like, yo, I'm not fucking up. So my scene, I was killing that jump, bruh. I'm just jumping in the car. So I'm walking past. So basically, I walk past Chris Evans. He's sitting down on a little water fountain. We out in D.C. at the Kennedy Center. I walk past him. I jump into the Mercedes and I'm driving off. And the dude just kept messing up. And they were like, "Hey, listen, if he mess up one more time, we're gonna swap cars." I'm like, "Hell yeah, dog! I get this motherfucker drive that nice sports show." So then, of course, he got it the last time. So I'm like, it is what it is. But I was so happy for him. Don't get me wrong. I was so happy. I don't got no hate in my body. So I was like, yo, and I kept encouraging him. So like, when he kept messing up, I said, yo, listen, they're telling me that you can't keep messing up or they're gonna replace you. And they were like, he was like, oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm just so nervous. I'm like, dog, you're never gonna get an opportunity like this again. Do not be nervous. Swallow that shit and move on. Get in that motherfucking car and drive. Next scene, he got in the joke drive. That shit was perfect, bruh. So if you watch the movie Ghost, you can kind of see me walk by for a quick second. And the thing about acting is, you might be in scenes, but they cut the motherfuckers all the time. So the good thing is you can kind of see the back of my head, you know what I'm saying? At least the back of my head was faded nicely. So I'm walking past, you see me getting in the car and drive off. So, but I wish they did had the full scene on that. But stay tuned. I'm gonna talk about the next background role I had, and it's called the movie Lady in the Lake. It was a TV series with Natalie Portman and Mike Epps. So I'm gonna talk about that later. Y'all be safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, comment, and we can keep this journey going. Deuces.